My dear students, good morning on all. Today we would like to discuss determinants of general structure of interest rate. We have already discussed some factors that will affect our rate of interest. Various rate of interest that is prevail in our financial markets or financial system. All the factors that are equally responsible for the difference in interest rate that is prevailed in our financial sector. Some of the general determinants or factors that will affect the structure of our interest rate. First one, that is differences in risk of the default, differences in the liquidity of the debt, differences in cost of servicing loans, difference in lending practice, difference in tax structure. Let us discuss all these points in brief in our today's class. First one, that is the difference in risk of default. That means we know while lending money, the first consideration that the lender ensure in against the risk of default of the principal loan and the interest become due on it. There is a normal practice. The first consideration we should emphasis on the lender ensuring against risk of the default of the principal. So to guard or to safeguard this risk of default, lender is always insist on some kind of primary collateral security from the borrower. It's a normal course of action. Almost all banks are demanding some collateral securities in order to ensure this risk. In spite of this, sometimes security turn out to be defective or prove to be inadequate. There are some loans which do not carry any security. Some personal guarantee loans are there. Therefore, difference arises in interest rate due to amount of premium attached to a particular loan against the risk of the default. That is called difference in risk of default. Difference in risk level cause difference in interest rate. The more risky the security, the higher is the interest rate, and vice versa. Clear? The more the risky security, higher is the interest rate in order to safeguard the risk. Getting? The next one, that is difference in liquidity of the debt. Liquidity is also important. How quickly, liquidity means how quickly and easy and without making any loss, a security can be converted into cash. That is called liquidity. Suppose an asset can be converted into cash within the short span of time without any expense. That is more liquid. The financial asset differ from its liquidity or marketability. All other factors remain the same. An asset which is easily marketable that earn lower rate of interest than one whose marketability is limited. Clear? Suppose an asset is it is able to market without any expense, easy marketable, or liquidity is more. Okay, that earn a lower rate of interest than marketability is limited. Okay, then the third one, that is difference in cost of servicing loans. Various costs are incurred by the lender. For example, cost of the project, sources of the projects, marketability of the project, and etc. etc. Lender has to keep a track record of the use of the loan, whether being used for the purpose for which it was raised. In most cases, many loans are granted for a particular purpose and it is used for some other purposes. That will happen. So he is to maintain a loan account, operate and supervise it regularly to know whether the rate of interest and loan of installment are repaid. Recovery of loan from the rural borrowers, it's very difficult one. Some of the costs are fixed per loan transaction irrespective of the size of the loan. So this gives difference in interest rate. Okay. Then the next one, that is difference in lending practice. Lending practice means commercial banks are followed some practices and rural cooperative banks are followed another practices for lending loans, and some of the development banks are following some other practices for lending loan. This is the reason that borrowers approach finance companies for raising loans and are ready to pay even higher rate of interest. Okay, this also ensure early expedition of the loan. Thus the difference in lending practice and additional facilities provided by the financial companies make the loan different. Hence the rate of reference is also different. Commercial banks are charging a rate on the loan. The same loans are granted at a different rate by the cooperative banks. Okay, so they are following different practices. So the difference rate are also the rate of interest are also differ. The next one, difference in tax structure. Different securities differ in respect of the tax exemption of the interest income and principal amount of the investment. For example, capital gain. You are already discussed all these things in your capital gain in our 5th semester BCom. There is an exempted income. Some suppose a person has investing some amount in investment which is exempted from tax. Interest rates is also different. So capital gains are taxed at a lower rate as compared to income from other sources. Thus the difference in tax structure applicable to various financial assets leads to difference in yield and hence difference in interest rate structure also. Clear? So these are the factors that will directly affect the structure of our interest rate. That's all about the today's discussion. Now I here give an assignment to write a short note on recent changes in interest rate structure. Many changes have been occurred during this period only because of our last month our finance minister Srimati Nirmala Sitharam has announced a number of new programs and policies and amendments with respect to the interest rates and practices to be followed in the near future as a result of this